to another exciting edition of Bowling Showcase, the only show to bring you everything bowling in the bowling capital of the world, Metro Detroit. I'm your host, Mark Martin. I'd like to thank our host center for this and every magazine episode of this year, Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park. Now, before we get into the bulk of the show, let's take a quick peek at some of this month's MDUSBC news. Recently, MDUSBC President George Brzezinski paid a visit to Bowl One Lanes in Troy to present the Bowl One Challenge team with their plaque for their Baker 300 game back in Week 1 of the Bowling Showcase Challenge Mary Bowl region. Congratulations to the Bowling Showcase Challenge team representing Bowl One Lanes. We're looking forward to seeing your team again in next year's challenge. Now it's time to jump into the show with a look at one of our most popular tournaments of the season, the Open and Women's Championship from Century Bowl in Waterford, right now on Bowling Showcase. The Women's and Open Championship, commonly called the City Tournament, was at Century Bowl in Waterford, and Bowling Showcase was there. This 5-weekend event brings together the MDUSBC's best bowlers, male, female, mature, and young, to compete for prize money and titles. The championship gives a chance for MDUSBC members of all ages and skill levels to compete, have fun, and more importantly, share their enjoyment of the game they love. Team play is a big part of the championship and helps to fire up the competitive spirit and camaraderie of the participants. Some teams represent their various bowling centers from across MDUSBC. Others are made up of friends and families for the sole purpose of getting together and having a good time. Many high-end MDUSBC bowlers participate in this annual event, including many Hall of Fame bowlers and future Hall of Fame bowlers. Although getting together and having fun with friends and family is a large part of the championship, showcasing one's ability, plus the chance of winning substantial prize money and brag about it afterwards, pushes the competitiveness of each bowler and makes for some exciting times. High caliber bowling, mixed with fun, friends, food, and drink, all combine to make the MDUSBC Women's and Open Championship a highlight of the MDUSBC bowling season. Complete results can be found at MDUSBC.com. What a lot of fun and great bowling, proving once again that Metro Detroit is the bowling capital of the world. Now, a complete listing of all the winners can be found at MDUSBC.com. Let's take a look at the MDUSBC Adult Youth Tournament held right here at Thunderbolt Lanes right now on Bowling Showcase. It was a day of smiles, high fives, and highly skilled bowling as the 2019 MDUSBC Adult Youth Baker Tournament took place over 2 weekends here at Thunderbolt. Bringing families together for fun, competition, and possible scholarship points, the lanes were filled with entire families taking part in this special event.
Well, it's an opportunity for me to bowl with my daughter. Obviously being boy-girl, my daughter and I don't get very many opportunities to bowl together. So this is a tremendous opportunity for me to bowl an event with her. Come out, have some fun, support the MDUSBC, and just get an opportunity to finally bowl with my daughter in competition.
And the Baker format of this event adds to the level of camaraderie and teamwork between the youth and adults. Reaching out to younger bowlers and nurturing their skill and love of the game is an important step in ensuring the future of the sport.
All right. No, it's a good experience. The first time for us doing this together. It's something we both like to do, so I figured come out here, have some fun, and try to do the best we can, and hopefully get them some scholarship points.
With these youth bowlers leading the way, the future of bowling in Metro Detroit looks sound and secure. We'd like to thank all of the adults and youth who bowled in this year's tournament. It was a fun day with smiles all around and memories to last a lifetime. All the results can be found at MDUSBC.com. There sure were a lot of smiles and high fives going on that day. Now it's time for me to take a little break, but stick around. I'll be right back after these messages.
We won a lot of professional tournaments. We won a lot of tournaments worldwide. I mean, we won more in the last 10 years worldwide than any company. We make good bowling balls, and good players use our bowling balls because they can win with them.
Welcome back. Thanks to Thunderbolt for hosting us each month here on Bowling Showcase. Later this month, Thunderbolt will host the TurboTech Challenge Youth Scholarship Tournament on Sunday, March 31st. And coming in July, our market will host over 4,000 junior gold bowlers from around the country, with Thunderbolt as one of the qualifying centers. You can get involved also as a volunteer by visiting MDUSBC.com. Thunderbolt will host all of the Junior Gold television shows right here in the arena, where earlier this week, the PBA World Series of Bowling concluded all of their live TV events. Remember, for all the action here at Thunderbolt, visit thunderbolt.org. And speaking of Turbo, now it's time to improve your game with Turbo Driven to Bowl.
Welcome to TurboTech, a regional USBC training facility located in Chesterfield, Michigan. My name is Chris Sand, the National Sales Manager for Turbo Grips and one of the lead instructors here at TurboTech. Today I'm here with Carolyn Doran-Ballard, USBC Hall of Famer, and we're going to discuss the importance of your knee bend in order to create more consistency. We get a lot of lessons here, and one of the topics is, how do I become more consistent? That's what they always want, more consistency. And what we have found is the importance of the legs or the knee bend at release in order to produce consistency.
And that's a great tip, especially for our upcoming power players that we see in high school and college.
Sure.
Legs are the most important part of the physical game. I mean, that's what's going to give you the power and the stability at the line.
Sure. So what we want to demonstrate today is, when we're going into that slide position, the importance of the knee to continue to flex forward at release. So what we see, especially with some of the kids that aren't exactly strong enough, when they get to the bottom of the release, what they'll actually do is have their knee go into the opposite direction, thinking that they're creating more power. Well, what actually happens in that case, the biomechanics of the swing, as the arm comes down, the knee is supposed to flex forward with it in order to create consistency. Where you're going to lose that consistency is, as the arm comes down, that knee flexes in the opposite direction, and now you don't have as good as release, and your direction isn't going to be as good. So it's very important to make sure, as the swing comes down, the knee continues to flex forward. So Carolyn, now that we've talked about this, what are some drills that we've worked on to increase the flexibility in the left knee?
Well, it's funny you ask that. Over the years, especially as I get a little older, I hate to admit that, but I've really noticed it in the last 3 years or so. I really do a practice drill that uses a weight. It's a 5-pound weight. And basically what I do, and I do this at home in my kitchen on the tile floor or the hardwood, basically with the sock on, by the way.
Socks, yes.
But basically what I do is I just get in my starting position, and I know it sounds kind of odd that I'm going to be in the starting going right to the finish, but I just do basically a one-step that allows me two things. It's going to allow me that feeling of leverage and power at the finish with stability, and loose swing. Remember, you did talk about how that arm comes through, and this allows me to be a little bit more free. So basically it's just this and down.
Right, and this will also get the timing of it a little bit too.
Exactly.
It'll teach you when that knee goes forward and when we have to release the bowling ball. Basically what we're doing is lunges, right?
Correct.
So even if you don't have this, we can just do basic lunges, because as you always talk about how important the legs are.
Absolutely, and again, I state, we talk about our power players that are all those high school and college bowlers, but for some of us who still want to stay competitive in the game, it really is important to build that that strength in our legs to allow us to be a little bit more stable at the line and stay low, because the lower I can get, the more consistent I am.
Right. So if you have this issue and you're interested in working with us at the TurboTech Training Facility, please contact our website and schedule an appointment. Check out Collegiate Expo 9 coming in July, just days before Junior Gold. Register now at turbogrips.com.
Thanks, Turbo. We'll bring you coaching tips and techniques every month here on Bowling Showcase, so keep watching to improve your game. Now, you know, there's many benefits of being an MDUSBC member, and a big part of being a member of MDUSBC and the bowling community is taking your love of the game and skill and using them to raise awareness and money for great causes. So let's peek in at our Bowl for the Cure event held at Bowl 1 Lanes in Troy and see how Metro Detroit bowlers, including some familiar faces, are helping to make a difference. Bowl for the Cure started in 2000 as a fundraiser and cancer awareness campaign by the United States Bowling Congress to help support the Susan G. Komen organization, the world's largest network of cancer survivors and activists. Over the past 19 years, this annual event has raised millions of dollars, and MDUSBC is always a participant. This year, a sold-out crowd of bowlers took to the lanes at Bowl 1 Lanes in Troy and did their part to stamp out cancer by bowling pink. The day started with a salute to the survivors who took part in today's event. After that revered moment, it was time to have fun, share laughs, and bowl for the cure. Now, even though this is a charity event, the natural competitiveness between teammates made for some serious bowling. But most bowlers just felt proud that they could bowl with friends and family and help out a great cause.
Yeah, this is our second year coming out, and it's a great cause, great people to get to know, and great food and atmosphere, and we'll keep coming every year.
Some in attendance came down to lend moral support and donations, even without hitting the lanes.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Bev. She's our friend that has gone through it, and you know, we're here to help support the cause, and we're doing, today is actually in her honor.
It was a day of fun, getting together with friends, raising money, and celebrating life through bowling and charity. Once again, showing off their generosity, activism, and love, MDUSBC bowlers are helping to beat cancer and offering up another shining example of why Metro Detroit is the bowling capital of the world. Every year, MDUSBC raises over $20,000 for cancer research. That's just one of the many good causes that MDUSBC members contribute to throughout the year. Time to change gears a little. Did you know that bowling is one of the fastest growing high school sports? Well, now you do. And this year, we were happy to cover the MHSAA Division I Bowling Finals from right here at Thunderbowl Lanes and the Division II Finals from Century Bowl in Waterford. So let's check on all the excitement of high school bowling right now on Bowling Showcase. Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park was the site for the Division I high school finals, and what a packed house it was. Jenison qualified fourth. In match play, they beat Rockford handily and then dispatched top seed Taylor to advance to the championship match. New Baltimore Anchor Bay qualified second. In the quarterfinals, they beat Sterling Heights Stevenson and Westland John Glenn in the semifinals to advance to the finals. In the championship match, Jenison prevailed over Anchor Bay by 107 pins to claim the Division I girls team title. For the boys, Farmington Hills Harrison qualified sixth by a mere 9 pins. They caught fire in the quarterfinals, dominating Macomb Lance Cruz North by 202 pins. and Plymouth-Salem in the semis by 136 pins to move on to the finals. Oxford grabbed the final 8th spot by only 5 pins. Now Oxford, they got here by pacing the Region 2 action in Flint. In match play, they defeated Westland John Glenn by 125 pins in the quarterfinals. In the semifinals, they carried a 75-pin lead into the final game against Jackson and hung on to win by 38 pins to move on. In the finals, Harrison moved out to a 70-pin lead after the first game and never looked back, beating Oxford by 180 pins to win the Division I boys team crown. In singles, for the boys, Jeffrey Lazuski of Brownstown Woodhaven qualified 15th with a 6-game total of 12-10, making the cut by only 17 pins. And once he got into match play, he beat 2nd seed Avery Thomas III of Clinton Township, Chippewa Valley, 445 to 440 in the 2-game total pins match. Kyle Finn of Macomb, Dakota, 443 to 435, and John Hall of Plymouth-Salem, 433 to 325 to advance to the championship match. Nick Slagter of Jenison qualified 5th with 1259. In the first round, he easily beat Dallas Casey of Saline, 450 to 297, before narrowly defeating Nick Casagrande of Wall Lake Central, 347 to 336, and Jared Wilbur of Central, 445 to 408 on his way to the finals. In the finals, Lazuski moved out to a 57-pin lead after the first game and easily beat Slagter, 453 to 322 to win the Division I boys singles title. In the girls division, Megan Armbruster of Oxford qualified 13th with 1185. She seemingly had an easy time in match play with victories over Abigail Bird of Taylor, 410 to 352, Evelyn Cano of Flushing, 368 to 285, and Lauren Slagter of Jenison, 424 to 364 to advance to the championship match. Danny DeCrute of St. Clair Shores Lakeshore qualified 7th with 1290. Each of her matches on the way to the finals were close, but she won them over Carrington Beeman of Farmington Hills Harrison, 352 to 322, Gabrielle Van Horn of Holt, 397 to 377, and Anna Bartz of Jenison, 349 to 316. Armbruster charged out to a 34-pin lead after one game, then continued to stay focused, winning 416 to 367 over DeCrute for the Division I girls singles crown. It was standing room only at Century Bowl in Waterford as the Division II high school finals hit the lanes for 2 days of exciting bowling action. Now on the girls' side, it was a battle of powerhouses as the top 2 teams entering today's competition, Flint Kersley and Tecumseh, ended up qualifying in the top 2 spots respectively. In match play, the 5-year running defending champion Flint Kersley beat Coldwater in convincing fashion, then dispatched Charlotte to advance to the championship match. Tecumseh, seeded second after qualifying, advanced to the finals by first beating Mason and then battling through their second match with a 6-pin win over Carleton Airport, setting up a finals rematch of last year. In the championship game, both teams were neck and neck through the 2 Baker games, but in the final regular game, Flint Kersley rallied after a poor start to erase Tecumseh's lead and win the title with a 113-pin total victory, claiming their 6th straight Division II title. On the boys' side, New Boston Huron was the top qualifier of the day. In match play, they dominated with victories over Jackson Northwest and Owasso to earn their spot in the final for their first time. Tecumseh qualified 7th and rolled into match play determined to make a name for themselves by advancing further than they ever had. They first dispatched Coldwater with a 133-pin victory, then beat Cadillac by 97 pins behind junior Hunter Raypatch's 300 regular game to advance to the final match. In the finals, New Boston Huron jumped out to a 115-pin lead after the two Baker games. In the regular game, Tecumseh beat New Boston Huron but could not overcome the previous margin, and New Boston Huron took home their first Division II title. Now on Saturday, singles competition took to the lanes with 120 of the best high school bowlers. For the boys, Jacob Harvey of Adrian qualified 14th with a 6-game total of 1191. He upped his game in match play by first beating Tom Trika of Owasso 388 to 359. He then continued his consistent winning by beating Zach Taylor of New Boston Huron 346 to 322, and finally Brandon Foster of Cadillac 385 to 328 to advance to the finals. Zach Wisniewski of New Boston Huron qualified 13th with a total of 1194. In the first round, he won a tight match over Dan Fry of Grand Rapids Northview 337 to 329, then continued to pile up wins by beating Kyle Vermilla of Cadillac 408 to 344 and Elliot Disher of Tecumseh 407 to 397, earning his spot in the finals. Wisniewski struggled through the final match, leaving splits while Harvey powered through to the end, easily earning the championship title by beating Wisniewski 428 to 321. In the girls division, Omani Morales of Cedar Springs qualified 10th with 1180. She seemingly had an easy time in match play with victories over Shailene Health of Adrian 432 to 393, Carly Snyder of Middleville Thornapple Kellogg 418 to 401, and Carly Van Dunen of Muskegon Reese Puffer 388 to 318 to advance to the finals. Lindsay Jewell of Escanaba qualified 8th with 1192. In match play, she beat Caitlin Hayden of Croswell Lexington 376 to 349. In her next match, she stunned the field by beating top seed Imari Blonde of Flint Kersley 385 to 369, and finally Emily Gurin of Dearborn Heights Annapolis 425 to 331 on her way to the finals. In the final match, Morales took a commanding 33-pin lead after the first game and continued to stay focused, winning 416 to 328 over Jewell for the Division II girls singles crown. Congratulations to all the high school teams and individual bowlers who took part in this year's finals. Looks like the future of our sport is in great hands. Now it's time to take a little break, but stick around. We'll be right back with more bowling action from the MDUSBC Senior Masters Tournament coming up next on Bowling Showcase. Michigan State USBC provides tournament competition and recognition for men, women, and youth in Michigan. The championship events for this season include the Women's Championship beginning in February in Lansing, the Open Championship beginning in January in Grand Blanc, and the Youth Championship beginning in March in Granville and Comstock Park. These events are open to all members of the association based on gender and membership. Other events for higher average bowlers include the Youth Masters in November in Battle Creek, the Queens in April in Sanford, the Senior Masters for those over 50 in March, and Masters in April, both in Battle Creek. Pepsi Youth events take place in your league with qualifiers advancing to the state finals in May in Troy and Sterling Heights. Visit MichiganStateUSBC.com for entry blanks and more information on the Michigan State USBC. Welcome back. Now it's time to look at some of the best seasoned bowlers from across Metro Detroit with the always competitive Senior Masters Tournament held at Indian Lanes in Wyandotte right now on Bowling Showcase. It was a weekend of freezing temperatures, but that didn't stop 112 of MDUSBC's finest senior bowlers from taking the lanes at Indian Lanes in Wyandotte for the 2019 Senior Masters. Three-time MDUSBC Senior Masters champion Harry Sullins of Chesterfield was the top qualifier with a 6-game total of 14-22. But it was Bill Kazmierski of Pinconning who came in early Sunday morning and set the pace for the other competitors with a perfect 300 game in his very first match. He continued his winning ways by beating Terrence Dockery of Fraser 526 to 423. 2015 Senior Masters champion Glenn Pelon of Trenton 397 to 371. Rick Wayne of Westland 490 to 422. Harry Sullins 460 to 426. And Joe Krajewski of Clinton Township 456 to 373 to earn his spot in the final match. 2009 Michigan State Senior Masters champion Mitch Jebzinski of Novi qualified 7th with 1328. In match play, he stayed in the winner's bracket by defeating Mike McCleskey of Southfield 520 to 423. Tom Falls of Troy 449 to 385. And Jeff Kendall of Clawson 407 to 344. Jebzinski was then sent to the loser's bracket when he was defeated by Joe Krajewski 434 to 391. Once in the loser's bracket, Jebzinski beat defending champion Troy Stuss of South Lyon 449 to 405, Harry Sullins 435 to 401, and avenged his earlier loss to Krajewski 465 to 420 for the chance to win the title. The 2-game title match between Kazmierski and Jebzinski was a close battle, with each man making their shots when it counted. In the end, it was Kazmierski who emerged victorious with a 456 to 430 win over Jebzinski to cap off his weekend of excellent bowling. Dan Mayer of Waterford won the Super Senior competition for non-qualifiers 60 years of age and older by defeating Sam Girgenti of St. Clair Shores 192 to 191 for the title. Congratulations to Bill Kazmierski on his impressive Senior Masters victory. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'm Mark Martin, and I'll see you next time on Bowling Showcase.